Vasquez, who literally saved my life more times than I can count, was my partner for a number of years at the sheriff's office. And we were sitting one day at a coffee shop, reliving old war stories. By the way, the most dangerous thing in the world is two old cops sitting with time on their hands, swapping stories back and forth. And military, same thing. And when we got up, we both did the same thing. We're like, oh, geez, working the kinks like we've been sitting for about an hour. And he said the most prophetic words he ever said to me ever. He looked at me and he said, remember all those fights we thought we won? And I'm just going to say that, guys. If you're into fighting, stop. If you can not get into a fight, I highly recommend it, because I have broken every bone in my body at least once. Please, God, don't feel like I do on a cold morning when you get out of bed. I am worse than an old Model T car. It takes a lot to get me going. Hence, coffee. Okay, so back to the terror talk. There's a part of this job that burns people out the fastest, and we just touched on it. The child pornography is one of the hardest things you will ever have to deal with. When I'm running a lab and you work for me, I have a rule, and nobody above me can change that rule. Because if they do, I walk. No one's ever challenged me on it. If you work for me and you have to work a child porn case, you work the case. If at any point in time you say, I cannot deal with this, you're off. It's that simple. When you complete the case, you do not work another one for a full year, period, into discussion. Not going to happen. You got to have cool down time. You got to have time for your psyche to deal with it. The FBI has asked me to come work for them numerous times. They have offered me a GS-15, really sweet paying job, more times than I can count. But they want me to come head up their Angel Eyes program, which means you deal with child porn all day, every day. I value my insanity too much. It would ruin me. And I know that, therefore I won't do it. And I've told them, guys, you have to stop doing business this way. You are not doing your examiners any good. And they don't listen. It's the reason I call them the first bureau idiots. I'm sorry. So, that's going to be the worst. And you need to brace yourself for that if you get into this. Because it's virtually guaranteed you will come across it at some point in your career. Just be ready for it. The other thing, if you work DOD, like I have, yes, all those things where they show executing our folks over there and they stop just before he does it, I've seen the rest of those. I don't sleep for nights after I watch those. And I've been doing this a long time, because I've also heard the sound and the audio that goes with it. I hope none of you ever see those videos, because you think the child porn's bad until you see that. And it's awful. It is the worst of what we deal with. So, the other side of that, I learned the hard way. Been a cop for a long time, been around the military for a long time. Trust me, if it's a swear word, I've not only heard it, I can virtually guarantee you I've used it. If anything like that bothers you, don't get into this business. Because I guarantee you, the people that you're interviewing, the people you're dealing with, cannot complete a sentence without at least 10 of those words in it. Okay? And I was later, after I got my CFCE, I was teaching at that 2-week class down there. And this nice lady, older woman, was sitting in the class. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm going to use the language in here because you're going to hear it there, and we're talking about these kind of cases. And off I went. During the break, she came up to me and she's like, you really shouldn't use that kind of language. You need to pick another line of work. And I wasn't trying to be mean. I'm explaining to her, if that bothered you, you are going to hate being in an interview room. And she took that to heart. She actually talked to a couple of other people. She says, don't take my word for it. Go talk to all those guys on the back wall who were instructors and ask them. And they'll probably use a couple of words when they answer you. And yeah, next break, she wasn't sitting there anymore. I felt bad, but you know what? Why get into something, go down this incredibly hard path, only to find out that internally you don't like that? Go find something else to do. Seriously. But if that sounds like a challenge to you, if you like solving problems, if you can do Sudoku puzzles in your sleep, this might be a great job for you. If you're curious, you see something, you got to go figure out, why did that happen? What caused that? You know? Or if you stay up at night and you're like, how does the TARDIS work and how did Dr. Who do that? You might make a really good forensic investigator.
I'd ask, could you, before we end the session, could you write on the board the certifications, the entry-level ones down to the more serious ones, or for the people getting going? Because like I was trying to explain to my class, you know,
Yeah.
certifications will help you when you're just getting going to open doors. You were mentioning A+ is one.
Right, that's just, again, when people come to me that aren't doing what you guys are doing, that's the first thing I tell them. Go get an A+, because if they go, oh man, that was too hard, yeah, you're really gonna hate the next one. And I understand what you're asking. It's a very difficult question to answer because
So many different.
there's so many different paths, and there are some pieces that are specialized. Like, you know, I've been very fortunate. I have been certified in doing fingerprints. I have been certified in doing data recovery. I've been certified in lots and lots of other pieces because, again, I'm insanely curious and I want to learn all this stuff and I want to be the best I can be at it. You may find you can't stand fingerprints. So maybe that's not a certification you want to go down. Yes, sir?
What do you try law enforcement?
You got a whole jump start there, you know, because as soon as you have that and you start throwing computers in on top, they're going to talk to you. They're going to want to talk to you because they don't have to teach you the LE side, okay? And by the way, you don't have to be a policeman to do this. There's a lot of civilian examiners. There's also a lot of private investigations. There's a company known as Alvarez and Marsal, which is just one. I mean, there's like 30. There's Deloitte and Touche, there's a bunch. But Alvarez and Marsal is one company that specifically looks for people that have very specific pieces of this puzzle. And they're also one of the best paying companies out there. If you can get on with them, you could be driving a Porsche by the end of the year. I'm just saying.
What is this? What is the potential salaries for starting out?
Alvarez will start you at $120,000 a year. Okay? Now, you know there's no free ride, right? So let me tell you what a day in the life of an A&M Alvarez and Marsal employee is like. You will get a call at 9 o'clock at night. Pack your bags, your plane leaves at 6 in the morning. You are going to a city. And I don't mean you're going to Chicago, it could be. You're going to New York, no. You're going to Abu Dhabi. You're going anywhere on the planet. So it could be US, it could be outside the US. You never know. Now, the good news is you fly first class everywhere. It's great. I highly recommend it.
And all your shit's paid for.
And everything's paid for. You eat in good restaurants, but you're going to fly at a moment's notice. You could be there for 3 days. You could be there for 3 months. It depends on how big the case is and how long it takes for you and your team to solve it. I got a call, example, I got a call one night, 10 o'clock at night. I was just getting ready to turn in for the night. My boss calls, says, pack for overnight, we're going to Chicago in the morning. It's not snowing. Okay, sure, I'll go. Get up the next morning, I meet him and another co-worker at the airport, jump on the plane, we go to Chicago.
It's snowing.
I walk in, no, it's not, thank God. I walk in to this extremely prestigious entity. Yes, I still have non-disclosure agreements, I can't get into certain details, but I walk in, here is the CEO and every other C-suite, so it's CEO, CFO, all those guys, in this room. There's like 500 other people, you know, server people and network people, and every one of them's hair's on fire. They're running around like the earth's gonna end because they can't figure out how they got breached and somebody's stealing all their stuff. No, but that would have been a fun one to work. So I'm standing there trying to, you know, figure out what's going on. Why is everybody upset? And this one clerk comes walking in and she says, the FBI is outside. It gets dead quiet in the room. And I mean, everybody's looking like, I'm not talking to the FBI. My boss looks at me with a big smile and it's like, yeah, I'll go talk to him. And I walk out. Guess what? One of the guys is. One of my old students.
Oh,
Yeah, I heard that.
Has got some amazing people.
What about
And
CID?
they can be good, but
It is the Army.
they're a little old-fashioned. They're a little old-fashioned, and they get a little full of themselves on occasion. I will tell you, I was teaching at the Cybercrime Academy, and I'm teaching online undercover, how to pretend to be other people online. And these agents start strolling in. And this girl, and I'm not kidding, 12, 13-year-old girl, comes walking in wearing a little suit and everything, and I'm thinking, the knuckleheads I work with are messing with me. One of them has sent their daughter in here to play a joke on me. And so she's looking around, because there were signs, you know, where everybody's name was on the desk, and she's looking around. I said, can I help you? She goes, yeah, I'm looking for my place. Really? And your name is? She rattled off a name, which was over here. And I said, yes, ma'am, your desk is right over here. And luckily, for once in my life, I did not open my mouth and make a smart aleck comment, because when she stripped the jacket off, she had an NCIS badge and a gun. Uh-oh, I don't think this is a joke anymore. Come to find out, she works child predators. That's the reason she's an agent. She gets on screen, you would swear she's 13 years old. And she closes cases like that. She pulls them in. They have an arrest record that's just amazing. They think about stuff. Those guys, the NCIS guys, I have huge respect for. Not the ones on TV. The guys that actually do the work.
When they did that one in McKinney a while back, when they did the sting, when they caught all the dudes.
Yeah.
You know about that?
Yeah.
I heard about that.
You know, when you talk about the agency that does it right,
Yeah.
those guys do it right.
Who was doing the forensics on that though? Was that McKinney or is that like the state?
No, the state took that on.
Yeah.
Yeah, McKinney
What was going on again?
has a
Oh, they
pretty
had a
decent group, but
Catch a Predator, McKinney, and they did it in McKinney, but
as soon as it made the news,
Yeah.
it goes to state.
that's what I wanted.
And yeah, so, and I've been, when I was a cop in Texas, that happened to me more times I care to count. You know, I'd go work a case where, for example, a high school teacher was being inappropriate with one of his students, and as soon as the news got wind of it, state walks in, Texas Ranger comes in and goes, that's mine. And I never saw it again. Because they want the press, you know. So I get it.
But I did work for a company that got hacked into.
Everybody bails out of here, because I know we've been talking for a while, and you guys probably want to go home. If you start playing at this, and you start trying stuff at home, you might do some of the things I did. Like, I'll go by garage sales, and I'll see old computers sitting there. Most people don't think to wipe the hard drive if they sell at a garage sale. And so what I would do is I would get hard drives at garage sales for $5, and I would go back and I would investigate it like I was investigating a crime. Usually just found documents, you know, letters to people, you know, family pictures, stuff like that. I never really found anything bad on any of those drives. But let me caution you, if you start playing at this and you fall into either online or you end up with a hard drive or something that has inappropriate porn, child porn, or anything else that's controlled or illegal, you don't have badges. You don't work for anybody that does this professionally. You will go to jail if the wrong person finds out you've got that. So if you come across it, call the cops, give it to them, tell them how you got it, be very upfront, get rid of it. Because I come in here and talk to you like this, we're all friends. I come to your door at night and you didn't call me, trust me, we're not friends. You're not going to enjoy it. Because I put cuffs on tight.
You gotta put a PK in between, I know the rules.
I was gonna ask.
No, you don't, actually. But we'll talk about that later. Somebody had a hand up over there. Yes, sir.
No, I never did it, I was just joking, man. I clapped down.
No. You'd be amazed, the people with colorful backgrounds that police departments have hired. Might explain a few things, but no, you don't have to have a completely clean record. And by the way, you don't have to have a completely clean record to get a security clearance.
They're the ones that-
You have to admit what you've done.